Today, break on Raj News, time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. Let's look at this day, and it's leading with Obasanjo's endorsement of the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi stirs angry reactions from Tinubu and Atiku. There's some writers to that story, and it says, if we get a closer look at this, it says, former president says citizens have moved from frying pan to fire under Buhari. He wants the youth to retake the country. The Labour Party calls on the former president, IBB, Jonathan and others to also endorse their candidate. Well, the APC has reacted saying Obasanjo cannot win his polling unit and his support for Obi is worthless. The People's Democratic Party as well is saying, you know what, this endorsement does not hold water because his former vice president should be the one to have been endorsed. Well, we wait to see how that pans out. PDP PCC says Tinubu was desperate to ride on treachery to Aso Rock. Find out what the story is about in the Punch newspaper. It's on page 5. Secondo says Wike lied. I didn't get contract from Rivers government. Brazilian stock market gains. That's Nigerian stock market gain 5.62 trillion naira last year, despite foreign investors' exit. And this one's from Bloomberg. How world's wealthiest billionaires lost $1.9 trillion in 2022.
Let's take a look at the Punch newspaper this morning. Also leading with the presidential poll, Obasanjo endorses Obi as Atiku Tinubu camps protest. An excerpt from Obasanjo's open letter. He's telling Nigerians to vote wisely and reject Tinubu's Emilokan. And Atiku's, quote, I have paid my dues. He's charging the youths to unite and take back Nigeria. Some writers from the Punch. Obi ahead others in terms of knowledge, discipline, vitality, and character. That's from Obasanjo. The ex-president says Nigeria became hell on earth under Buhari and scores APC low. This comes as President Buhari in his New Year address gave a pass mark, I guess, to his administration. Obasanjo's endorsement is worthless, and he's a political paperweight. This is coming from the APC and PDP camp. The leading photos there, New Year, governors' wives welcome first babies with gifts. Above the nameplate of the Punch this morning, NCDC emergency team meets over China COVID-19 surge. This comes as other countries, France, US, the UK, Spain, have put in negative PCR tests for travelers coming in from China.
So I guess the APC and the PDP, their objective would be to water down the endorsement of the former president. But the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu, did visit the former president months ago. And one wonders if he had endorsed him, would they be on this same path?
And would they think that his endorsement will still be worthless if he endorsed the PDP candidate or the APC candidate? And some others are saying they can't really put a finger on the same man. Now, speaking of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who wanted a continuity after completing his term when he was president, talking about the need for people to quit or to have a moral ground to make this sort of statements in his open letter that he just released New Year.
The Nation newspaper is saying Obasanjo under fire for endorsing Labour Party candidate Peter Obi. APC PDP Akinyemi Bugaji knock ex-president. Nigeria in top global chart as investors earn 4.45 trillion naira gains. The stocks bullish in third consecutive year. 18 die in New Year Day accidents. That's on page 2 in the Nation. And the Pastor Adeboye, Bishop Oyedepo, and Olukoya reveal what 2023 will bring. You want to know more about their prophecies, pick up the nation. Ganduje, Keredolu Bello drum up support for Tinubu, and two feared killed in military checkpoint attack by gunmen. AUGF report 17.87 million barrels of crude oil exported without records. And Lula in Brazil, Lula Inácio da Silva has been sworn in as president. Of course, it's his third term on that job.
Let's take a look at the Daily Sun this morning. Similar headlines. Presidency Obasanjo endorses Peter Obi, writes youths. Others say Labour Party candidates will savage Nigeria. Tinubu's camp says ex-president's endorsement is worthless. And Atiku's camp says it's his personal opinion. More headlines. Ohaneze Middle Belt Forum, Arewa youths. PFN, CSOs list qualities of Buhari's successor. And just below there, Rivers PDP ready for election. That's coming from Governor Wike.
This is The Guardian. Next, APC PDP denounced Obasanjo's letter endorsing Peter Obi. As letter says, LP candidate has edged over Tinubu, Atiku and others. The former president can't win his polling booth. That's the APC hitting back at him. New Year messages: Nigerians too sophisticated to be tricked with religion. That's according to Keredolu, the governor in Osun State. Serap sues Wike Okowa, others over 625 billion naira largesse. Jonathan Lawal Douglas, others make 100 most reputable Africans list. Group calls for caution in choice of new Ohaneze President General, and knocks his 12-year-old 12.850 billion naira Constitution Review investment fails. Nigerian Bar Association raises panel over Rahim Buraimo debts.
And from The Guardian Nigeria to The Guardian UK headlines this morning. Fury at ministers' plan for new real terms pay cut for NHS staff. The NHS strikes could continue for months amid anger at government plans to raise staff salaries by only 2% next year. It would mean the NHS wages falling further behind other sectors. More headlines. Lula in pledge to end era of devastation in Brazil. The Brazilians gathered yesterday to hold the return of Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who promised to rid the country of Jair Bolsonaro's era of devastation after being sworn in as president. And there's a report on The Guardian UK. 3 in 4 children dislike how they look. If you want to read more on that, just pick up a copy of the Guardian UK.
This is the Daily Telegraph. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak shelves Big Bang childcare reforms. He's also postponed the trust era revamp aimed at helping parents get back to work. Border Force staff join French beach patrols, and delays in emergency care causing 500 deaths a week. Rail strikes put return to work on buffers, and the climate protesters call halt to civil disruption.
Let's take a look at The Independent. Its leading story: Lula sworn in as Brazil's new president. They're calling it a stunning political comeback for the man who was once Brazil's most popular president. And at that swearing in, Jair Bolsonaro, the former president, was supposed to pass Lula the presidential sash as part of that ceremony, and he was not there to do that. And in an address, Lula has said that he will fight hunger and deforestation, lift the economy, and try to unite the country. That's Brazil. And more headlines on The Independent this morning. Overwhelmed courts failing victims of crime. CPS chief warns delays are leading to cases being dropped.
The I paper now. Tory voters blame the government for National Health Scheme crisis, poll shows. Now, the Conservative voters overwhelmingly believe the party has failed in its management of the NHS in the past decade. Andrew Tate, the social media guy, is fueling misogyny in schools. That's a warning from teachers. It's been maligning influence of social media accelerated due to the pandemic. Villa beat Spurs to pile the pressure on Conte.
And those are the headlines making the papers around the world this morning. Let's hear your view on all the burning issues. Follow us on Twitter @AriseTV. You can also join the conversation using the hashtag AriseDaybreak.